Chapter 7. The Truth Comes to Light. We arrived at the cottage just before dawn. The eerie quiet of the place unsettled me. The sun's first light struggled to break through the thick trees surrounding the house, casting long shadows across the ground. As we stepped inside, I could feel the weight of the past pressing down on us, its secrets lingering in the dust-covered air. James immediately moved toward the old wooden beams in the corner of the room. I followed him, trying to ignore the chilling feeling creeping up my spine. The air smelled faintly of decay, and there was a mustiness that made the cottage feel abandoned for decades, rather than just a few months. "We need to find more," James said, his voice sharp with determination. He moved aside a rug, revealing the worn wooden floorboards beneath. There was a hollow sound when he knocked on them. His eyes lit up. "There's something under here. Help me," he urged, his hands shaking slightly as he pried at the edges of a board. Together, we lifted the floorboard and discovered a hidden compartment. It contained a leather-bound journal and a small, intricately carved wooden box. I couldn't help but feel that these items held answers we had been desperately searching for. James opened the journal, flipping through the pages. Isabella's handwriting filled the pages, her words full of longing, love, and an ever-present fear of her father. But one entry stood out to me, written just before her disappearance. "I can't stay here any longer. Father has made his decision. If Henry and I are to be together, it must be in death. I love him with all my heart. We will be free." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. Isabella and Henry had planned to end their lives together. The love they shared was so intense that it drove them to escape the cruel grip of her father's control. "James," I whispered. "She was willing to die for him. For love." His face hardened. "But it didn't end there, did it?" He turned the page and read aloud the final entry, which was far more frantic. "I can hear Father coming. He knows. He's going to destroy us. I can't let him. Henry will meet me at the cottage tonight and will end it all." The final words left no doubt that Isabella had been desperate, yet resolute. But something went wrong. She had promised to meet Henry, but he never showed. Had he been stopped? Had Edward Hawthorne found out? And if so, how far did his influence stretch? Suddenly James froze, his eyes wide with realization. He looked at the fireplace where the hearth had been untouched for years. "I know where we need to go," he said almost urgently. "The fireplace. There's something hidden there." Chapter 8. The End of the Line. James's instincts were right. The moment we approached the hearth, I could see something was amiss. A small section of the floorboard had been disturbed, freshly broken. James knelt down, brushing aside the debris, and uncovered a narrow, hidden compartment in the fireplace wall. Inside, we found two bodies, their identities immediately clear despite the years of decay. One was Isabella, her once beautiful features now barely recognizable. The other was Henry. Their hands were clasped together, forever bound in their tragic escape from the world that had tried to tear them apart. A sickening feeling washed over me. They had followed through with their plan, but the world they had fled to had been cold and unkind. They were dead, and their love story had ended in the most devastating of ways. James's voice cracked as he whispered, "They died together, just like they wanted." "But how could her father let this happen?" I shook my head, struggling to hold back tears. "I don't think he knew. Isabella must have hidden their bodies, hoping no one would find them. She wanted to protect Henry and herself." James stood up, his expression grim. "The truth is finally out, but it's not what I expected. I thought I would feel relief, but all I feel is sorrow. Sorrow for their lost love, for the life they never got to live." We stood in silence for what felt like hours, each of us mourning the lives of two young lovers, whose fates had been sealed by the cruelty of the world around them. The coldness of the cottage seemed to close in, and I knew that we could not stay much longer. "We need to tell someone," I said quietly. James nodded. "But who would believe us? After all this time, who would understand?" Epilogue. A new beginning. Months passed, and Windmere slowly began to heal. The truth about Isabella and Henry's tragic fate was no longer a secret, but it had not brought the town peace. Instead, it had left everyone with a deeper understanding of how love, when thwarted by power and pride, can destroy lives. James stayed in Windmere, inheriting his family's estate and slowly restoring it. He had come to terms with the loss of his parents and found solace in the town's healing process. Together we had uncovered the truth, but the cost had been steep. As for me, I knew my journey was far from over. I had uncovered a tragic chapter in Windmere's history, but I had also discovered a new path for myself. One that would honor the memory of Isabella and Henry, not with sorrow, but with respect for their love. James and I would visit their graves often, standing side by side as the town around us moved on. We knew their love had been a beautiful, albeit tragic story. And in that love, we had found something unexpected: peace. We could never change the past, but we could choose how we remembered it. And we would remember their love always. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe Fluent Through Stories, and share this story with your friends. Stay tuned for our next story. See you soon.